tonight?
Yeah. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it. This is Perfect Turd Podcast, episode 16.
16.
Nice.
Yes.
Today, we wanted to do a horror.
Yes.
And looked to the horror section on all the streaming services and found this movie, Nightbreed.
Nightbreed.
And in a weird way, I almost think that it's not classified correctly.
Yes.
I found it to be more of a fantasy action film.
And you know what? That's what's interesting about this movie because, like, it kind of starts off as, like, a horror.
Mm-hmm.
But the more you watch it, yeah, it does come off like a fantasy movie and everything like that. It's just that, you know, it has, like, themes that are kind of, like, spooky.
Yeah.
Usually associated with horror. But this was your find. And yeah, so do we just go ahead and start off?
Yeah, start it off.
Well, there's this guy. His name. Well, let's do some research on the film.
Yeah.
Clive Barker. He wrote and directed this movie. He's also responsible for Hellraiser.
Yep.
It stars Craig Sheffer, who starred in A River Runs Through It.
He was also in Hellraiser 5.
Oh, there you go. So they already have that connection.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in this movie that have been in Hellraiser movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
David Cronenberg.
Yes.
Who we know more so as a director.
Yep.
He directed The Fly reboot, Scanners, History of Violence, and Eastern Promises. Yeah, so...
And Doug Bradley.
Doug Bradley...
He was the Lynchburg in this film, I think his name was. The leader of the monsters. He is well known for being Pinhead in Hellraiser, so...
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, well, the movie starts off with, like, this weird kind of dark... Like, you see these monsters running through a field.
Yeah. But it's like quick cuts.
It's very quick cuts. And Aaron Boone is actually a dream he's having.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a dream that he keeps on having. With him, you know, just this really dark place with weird animals. And he goes to this psychiatrist. And he also has a girlfriend. What's her name? Her name is...
Lori.
Lori.
Curl.
Oh, Walking Dead.
Anyways.
Yeah, great segue. But, you know, he's kind of a normal guy, but he just keeps on having these nightmares.
Yeah, his psychiatrist, who's Decker.
Yes, Decker.
He calls him up. He's like, I need to see you right away.
Yes. So Decker calls him in. And then I think this is when he starts mentioning, you know, there's been some murders that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
I think he tries to make Boone think that he did these murders. We actually see one of them, of a nice little old family.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal scene.
Very brutal. So, you know, basically the psychologist is trying to put all these murders on Boone because it's like, hey, Boone already seems kind of crazy with these dreams.
Yeah.
And so he gives him, I think, lithium.
Yep.
Gives him lithium. He starts spazzing out, freaking out.
Yeah, he winds up in a hospital.
Yeah.
And the police are with the doctor.
Yes.
And he's telling him, like, yeah, this guy's, you know, he's crazy.
The psychiatrist, yep.
Yeah. He's setting Boone up.
Mm-hmm.
And Boone meets a dude in the hospital that's also kind of mumbling about this place where the monsters live. Midian,
and that name is important. And it's an important theme to this movie, but yep, Midian.
Yeah, so that guy's like, yeah, I know where Midian is.
Uh-huh.
They gotta come take me, you know.
They have to accept me.
Yeah, everyone is So then Boone is like, well, tell me how to get there and we'll both go.
Yeah.
And so the guy tells him where to go. Boone escapes.
Goes to this place.
Yeah. But we also have to talk about the other guy real fast when he cuts his skin off.
Yeah, straight up Hannibal Lecter style on himself.
Yeah, and that's a common thing with Clive Barker. He likes a lot of skinless stuff, like where people's skin gets torn and stuff.
I noticed that.
Yeah, that's his
thing.
I've
noticed that from this film, and I think I saw another clip of another movie.
Yeah, Hellraiser's got a lot of that,
Yeah, so...
Yeah, so Boone escapes and he goes to Midian.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, which looks like a funeral. Well, not a funeral.
Cemetery.
It's a cemetery.
Yeah.
It's a cemetery place.
And then two of the monsters, they find them.
Yeah.
And one guy just wants to eat him.
Yeah, he's just like, he's meat.
Yeah, he's meat.
He's meat.
Meat.
And the other guy's like, no, that's not right. You can't eat them.
It's against the law.
It's against the law.
The code or whatever.
Yeah. You know, the other guy is trying to protect him, and then the one guy that wants to eat him just takes a bite out of him.
Mm-hmm.
He bites him, and then, Boone manages to get away, and then the cops are there.
Yeah.
And then the psychiatrist kind of comes to talk to him, and then he kind of whispers to him, I know you didn't do it. And then he goes, he has a gun! Moves out of the way, cops shoot him.
They blow him away.
Blow him away.
Then they take his dead body in.
Yes.
But he turns back alive.
Yes, he does.
And he escapes from the hospital.
He escapes from the hospital and goes back to Midian.
Yep.
And then Lori finds out, he's been shot and all this kind of stuff. And she finds out about, Midian through the psychiatrist or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he had mentioned the nightmares to her as well.
Yep.
And then, so she starts, putting together.
Yeah.
What's going on. So she just tries to go looking for him.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so that was kind of a weird thing. She ends up in, a bar.
Yeah.
She becomes friends with just random lady.
Random lady talking about love and men and stuff.
Yeah, that lady's just looking to get laid every night, it seems.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's her character.
Yeah.
She's understanding, but she wants some sex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sign me up. Anyways.
Yes.
The doctor, he ends up going there too.
Yes.
And he ends up killing that woman.
Yeah, seducing her.
He seduces her, yeah.
Yep. And then Lori goes into the grave place. And it's like a weird, animal thing.
Yeah, a little creature, yeah.
A little creature. And then a woman's, inside the tomb. It's like, bring her to me. So she picks up the creature, hands it to the woman inside the tomb. Mm-hmm. And then the creature morphs into a little girl.
Yeah, her daughter's a shapeshifter.
Yes.
Yeah, she was like a gypsy woman or something.
Pretty much.
Yeah, right?
Yep.
She was really hot, but she's the worst mother ever. She's always looking for that kid. She never knows where that kid is throughout this whole movie.
Going back to Walking Dead,
Yeah.
Because Carl is always lost. It's kind of like that thing. She's not that great of a parent, but this is where Lori gets introduced, and we get really deep into the backstory of Midian.
Yeah.
Because we go down deeper, because there's a staircase that goes down. Because she's looking for Boone. She's like, F that, I want to see Boone. Goes down to the staircase, and it's this whole city of these they're shapeshifters, right?
Freaks. Yeah, some are shapeshifters, some are freaks.
Yeah.
Just straight up monsters.
Yeah, and then
this is a cool scene too.
It is a really cool scene because I won't say it came out of nowhere, but you didn't expect it.
Yeah.
And it's a whole community of these, like you said, shapeshifters and freaks.
Yeah.
And they're just living.
Yeah.
They're not crazy or anything like that.
It's just their place.
Just their
where
place.
Where they belong.
Yep.
They're happy there.
They're chilling out. She finds them, but then everybody's like, no, she can't stay here. She's not a freaking Nightbreed or whatever.
And then the leader, I think his name was Lindsberg.
Yeah.
He tells Boone, that's against the code here.
That's against code.
If you want to be with her, you have to leave here.
Yep. You can't, switch sides and shit like that. Yeah, so...
Yeah, and of course, the doctor is following, too. Mm-hmm. So Boone is starting to fight get into a fight with him.
Yeah.
Chases him off.
Yes.
But he thinks that Lori is in trouble, so he actually stops chasing the doctor to go back to her.
Yes.
So, essentially what happens is the police end up catching Boone again.
Yes.
And he gets locked up.
Mm-hmm.
And then now at this point, the doctor goes back to the police and tells them about this Midian place.
Yep.
Which it seems like everyone in the town already kind of knows about it in a way.
It's like a hidden secret.
It's like something that...
Yeah, because the backstory is this. For the whole thing with Midian. Midian was basically had to be made because the normal humans started to just kill off the shapeshifters.
Yeah.
And so they had to take refuge underground and hide.
Right.
And so that's how Midian got created. So Doctor tells the police, there's a lot of crazy people down here, shapeshifters. We gotta go get our guns and kill them all. Yeah,
the police, the sheriff or whatever, they form a huge militia.
A huge militia posse.
Yeah.
It's they get a priest, which is another interesting story
we need
element.
a priest. Yeah, because they assume that there was evil down there, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And so they capture Boone, and they're trying to figure all this stuff out. But then they have the weirdo guy, Lori, and
Yeah.
the weird gypsy woman
Yep.
come to break him out.
They come to jailbreak him.
And then they head back to Midian, trying to, and basically all these crazy, like, I don't know, small town people with their guns and the police are just shooting up everybody.
Yeah, they're shooting up everything. Just
everything.
mowing them down.
Yeah. And then Boone is trying to tell everybody, hey, you have to fight back. You know, that's another underlying theme of this, you know, fighting oppression and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Really cool theme. So they finally start to fight back, and they fight back in like weird ways. There's a guy with like things coming out of his stomach.
Yeah, all that shit was cool, man.
That was pretty cool. There's a porcupine lady.
Yeah,
there's the woman that turns into smoke.
Yeah, the gypsy lady does.
The gypsy lady. What else? There's a bunch of other things that happen. Just a bunch of like just weird effects going on.
Yeah.
And then it finally comes down to, you know, the doctor and Boone, and they're fighting. And then I guess, like, you know, the doctor stabs Boone, but it doesn't kill him.
Right.
Because he's Nightbreed now.
Right.
And so he just has the thing just coming out of his freaking chest. And then he just finds a way to hug him and kill the doctor.
Yep.
But Midian is just, like, being destroyed because these people have bombs.
Yeah, they blew up the place. They had, like, TNT.
Yeah.
Like, they had a freaking flamethrower.
Yeah, they had a lot of stuff.
Killing all the Nightbreed. And so Boone convinces the Nightbreed leader that the only way to turn the tables on these guys is we got to release deep down inside their Midian down there are the berserkers.
Yes.
Which were the Nightbreed that they were like feral and too hard to control, so they just locked them up.
Yep.
So he's like, you got to release the berserkers, which is like the greatest name.
Berserker, yeah.
Berserkers.
You know what? I don't know if you... Well, I think you play video games. Yeah. Have you ever played Gears of War?
Yeah.
There's a big thing called a berserker. So did they steal that from this film?
Maybe. There was a wrestler called Berserker way back in the day, too.
Yeah. They could have stolen that from this movie.
Possibly.
So then the berserkers just go
they go
crazy.
Ape shit. Yeah.
Yes.
They start turning the tide on everything.
Mm-hmm. And then this is when Midian is still being blown up. Boone meets with Baphomet.
Yes, which is interesting.
That is very interesting. A lot of themes in this film.
Yeah, so he goes down to the depths.
Yes.
And he had, I think, seen Baphomet before, earlier in the movie. Mm-hmm. Baphomet is like their god, I guess.
Yes. Baphomet basically says this was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And it's later revealed by the guy that bit Boone that the reason he was having dreams was because there was going to be a Nightbreed that kind of freed us.
Yeah.
So but that's Boone's basically his whole thing.
Yeah.
Is like
his destiny was to essentially undo Midian and then rebuild it.
Like Moses. All the themes in this freaking movie. All the themes.
And so he gets, Baphomet tells him this, and then he renames Boone to Cabal.
Yes, to Cabal. And then, you know, they get, like, the remaining Nightbreed out of there.
The director's cut has a different ending than the regular movie. I think the regular movie kind of ends the way we just said. Midian gets destroyed, and Boone has to rebuild it.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. And I think the director's cut kind of goes a little extra, where Lori, she's like, so you're leaving me? And Boone's like, well, I'll be back for you someday. And she's like, when I'm an old lady, blah, blah, blah. So she actually kills herself.
Yes.
So, and then he has to bite her so she can also turn into a Nightbreed.
Yep.
And then it ends at the very end where the remaining people from Midian, all the other Nightbreed, they're just waiting in the barn for Boone. And they're just kind of like, he's going to rebuild a new Midian for us.
And then the little girl's like, when? And then someone says, isn't it her mother says, when the next wind.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
Yeah.
Well, you know.
Or the next time I lose you and I have to go look for you again.
Parents, watch your kids. Watch your kids. Jeez. And before we give our reviews, like you said, like there's a director's cut, which we watched. Basically, 20th Century Fox, it was like a disconnect between them and Clive Barker.
Yeah.
They didn't get it. Because I think it came down to like a quote where, like 20th Century Fox, I don't know the exact exec's name or whatever, they were like, well, it's kind of like the monsters are the good guys.
Yeah.
And the humans are the bad guys. And Clive Barker's like, that's the point.
Yeah.
And that's what's interesting about this movie is that it makes like the monsters the good guys.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he definitely has that thing where he likes to do kind of the reverse, where the monsters are not the villain.
Mm-hmm. And so that kind of halted, I feel like, the success of this movie. Because like this movie, I feel like the more I watch movies like this, I really miss like practical effects.
Yeah.
Because I liked all of like the monsters look and all that kind of stuff. That was really cool. I really like the themes. We can talk about the themes of this movie.
Okay.
It's like this whole thing fighting against like oppression.
Yeah.
Because like he said, like, you know, the monsters and freaks, they were the good guys, and it was like
they're just living their life.
They're just chilling.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it was like the town folk were like, we gotta kill these people.
Yeah, why? They're not bothering anybody. They're underground. We have to blow up their whole place.
Very interesting.
And then Boone is that kind of savior that comes. So yeah, that makes sense.
Like Jesus or Moses.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of underlying themes, like a lot of stuff, and I feel like this movie could have been something even more, like an expanded universe and all that kind of stuff.
That's something I wanted to talk about. I think that was the intention. Because this film was definitely left off, and I think they said he had plans to make a trilogy.
That makes sense.
And the way they left it off, you know, the priest wanted revenge. Boone has to rebuild a new Midian. Mm-hmm. All these things, there's still some open-ended things.
Yeah, maybe more monsters. Maybe there's more like Nightbreed
somewhere else
and stuff like that. So
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So let's tell us what you think and your review of it, your rating.
I'm going first.
Sure.
I am not a big fan of horror movies.
Okay.
And I know we already said that this wasn't like horror; it was more fantasy. But that imagery, I can only take so much. Just to be honest, but. Shockingly, I would rate this a 5 out of 5.
Really? Okay, cool.
I would. Like, there's a lot of... I feel like we come across movies that people don't see. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you should see this movie. If you're, like, into, like, horror, and if you're a fan of, like, Clive Barker stuff... definitely see this movie. This movie... The way it's set up, it kind of just throws you for a loop for what it is. Mm-hmm. And that's what's interesting about it. So I would rate it a 5 out of 5.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Well, first of all, I'm a sucker for all that effects.
Yeah.
All those makeups and all that shit that they're doing. I love that stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. I enjoyed it a lot. I'll say 4 out of 5. There's definitely...
I don't know.
Clive is... He has a vision.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of cool ideas. Sometimes his execution as a director is not the greatest.
Oh. So, here's my question, because I was thinking about this after I watched the movie.
Okay.
They're doing all these remakes anyway.
Ah, yes. I have something to say, but yeah, go ahead.
You go ahead, because you brought this movie to me, so you go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Well, I was going to say, what I heard is this is being made into a television show. So... Is that what you were going to say?
Pretty much. Pretty much, because I think I always mention Netflix or some like streaming service.
Yeah.
This is a perfect, like with all the themes and stuff like that, Netflix special, and who directs it? Guillermo del Toro.
Oh, okay.
That would be awesome.
He could do a good job. So, I think it's been confirmed that Clive Barker is writing.
Awesome.
But I want to say that it's going to be on the Sci-Fi Network, but I'm not sure.
That means censoring.
Yeah, that's the one thing. I don't think that you could censor Clive Barker. I think he's good when you let him run.
This could be a very good like cult show.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like Netflix kind of has like that on lock, where it's like they have like certain venues for certain audiences and stuff like that. When it's sci-fi,
yeah,
they're gonna try to water it down where it's like open to everybody.
Yeah.
But that takes away from I think the themes of it, and like you said, the gore.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I would like to see them do it as a Netflix, but yeah, it has. As far as I know, they said it's definitely going to go through. It's going to be remade as a TV show, which is pretty cool, and hopefully it'll draw more people to this movie, because I think it's a pretty cool movie.
It has a very interesting concept.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Heck yeah! All right, so 5 out of 5 for you, 4 out of 5 for me.
Yes.
Definitely watch it.
Go watch it. This
preferably
is the
director's cut, if you.
Oh, don't do that other whatever.
Sweet deal. All right. Episode 16, Nightbreed.
Yay.
Peace.
Deuces.